This tutorial explains how to save searches and reload the same criteria again later. This comes in handy if you find yourself entering the same criteria repeatedly. It's especially useful on the Suburb search page since that tool has a lot of criteria to set, so I'll go to that research tool. There are quite a lot of criteria you can set in Suburb search. There are geographical restrictions, filters, sort preferences, and what you want to see in the report. That's a lot of criteria. It may take some time to get your criteria just the way you like it. You don't want to re-enter that every time you open the Suburb search page. One solution is to find a similar report you requested earlier, and you can see a list by clicking on the Get Log button. But there's a better way. Click on this button instead. A dialog will pop up. It assumes you want to save your current criteria as a new saved search. It defaults a name for you, but that name is quite verbose to try and make it unique. You can overwrite the default name with a simpler name of your own. If you click the Save button, your search criteria will be saved to the list of criteria below. Notice how your saved search is now added to the list. And you can change the name by clicking on this icon. Type a new name in the name field. Now click Save. The name will be updated in the list of saved searches. You can delete your saved search by clicking on this icon. After confirming, your saved search will be removed from the list. Now you may be wondering what all the other entries in the list are. These are system-defined examples. They are here to help you get started. If you click on the name of one of these examples, the dialog will close and the criteria for that example will be set in the fields. You can see how much a report with these criteria costs by clicking Get Quote. You can see the data of this report by clicking Get Data. If you are new to a research tool, you should go through these examples in trial mode. Note that you cannot rename or delete the system-defined examples. You can only delete or rename criteria you add to this list. You'll also notice there is a column in the list labelled Favourite. You can choose one of these criteria to be your favourite. If I click on the Favourite checkbox for example 3, example 3 now becomes my favourite. Let's have a look at the settings for example 3. The market type is set to state. There are no geographical restrictions and there are no metric filters. There are a set of columns to view, but because this data is for states, there are no columns to look at suburbs, postcodes, or even cities. The only geography type column is state. And notice that the number of rows is limited to 8. Because this example 3 is now my favourite, if I leave the Suburb search page and return, the criteria will automatically be set to the criteria for example 3. Let me change my favourite to one of the other examples. Now if I exit Suburb search and return, you will notice that the default criteria are different. Let's say I want to alter the filters for these criteria and save them as my own. I'm going to reduce the minimum yield for this filter. Now, to save these new criteria, I open the list of saved searches. I change the name to something I'll remember. And if I want this to be my favourite, I click the favourite checkbox. Then I click Save. Now, if I exit and re-enter, you will notice that the criteria show my new filter settings. All right, let's say I now want to make even more changes to my favourite criteria. I'm sorry, you cannot overwrite your existing saved criteria. Instead, you need to save as new criteria. Then delete the old one. All right, this ends the tutorial on saving searches. Remember that this is the same functionality for all the other research tools. Market metrics is another good one to customize. You may not like the system example metrics, so pick your preferred ones. Note that you can save multiple criteria, but you can only have one that is your favorite. And that will be the criteria loaded whenever you open a research tool.